passion, his humility. Everybody was so accommodating. It felt like home, and it felt like he was at the head of this household. And I got a quick short story in my time there. We had lunch together, and I turn around, he's busting my tray, and I'm like, Coach, no, please, like, I'm gonna get killed for this if people find out. But it was just, he was serving, and it's that servanthood, that heart of being able to just give your best to those around you that I really respect and try to emulate in what I do as well. Yeah. Sean was incredible. I go back to, he was our third quarterback at the time, and we went through, my job, was to make sure all of our quarterbacks were prepared, and I call it the bullpen, but, you don't get all the throws that the first quarterback does, but Sean wanted to make sure he got all the throws, and then he wanted to make sure he put himself in the most impossible physical positions to try to get the throw done. I learned so much in our times. Different progressions, different types of drills he forced himself into were things that I took with me as I continue to coach quarterbacks over the last couple of years. But brilliant, asks the right questions, catches the loopholes in protections and different things like that. A really sharp guy and a great human, and I really enjoyed my time with him.
Did you tell him he was going to be a coach?
Absolutely. That was something that I knew was going to be in his future. It was just a matter of if he was dumb enough to get into the profession. But I guess he is, so here he is.
Don't worry, we'll get back to Panthers head coach Dave Canales in just a moment, but want to make sure that you guys are subscribed here to Panthers Today. We're going to be bringing you guys NFL Combine coverage all week long. The Chat Sports team is up in Indianapolis. We're going to bring you Dan Morgan. We're going to bring you player interviews, who the Panthers are bringing in for interviews of their own to potentially draft them in April. And we'll be keeping you guys tapped in leading up to the NFL draft as it gets closer and closer. But before that, we have NFL free agency to get to. Who are the Panthers going to sign? We'll let you know who they're linked to. We'll let you know who ends up joining this roster. So you got to go down below and hit that subscribe button. We're bringing you informative and interactive content here at Panthers Today, and we always want to hear from you. So get down in the comments section, lock us in, and hit that subscribe button for free Panthers content all offseason long, and we'll get back to Dave Canales' interview.
They're extremely helpful, and the good that comes out of it, my connections with them have been different over the years. Some guys, we hit it off and had conversations. Other guys, there was some distance there, which I think is healthy. But what they do is they get to spend so much time with these quarterbacks just focusing on their technique, focusing on where their eyes are at. They watch film. Quarterbacks have, video setups at their homes in different ways like that, where they have a coach kind of go through these progressions. So really valuable and extremely valuable when you can connect with them so they understand what you're trying to get done conceptually, so that there's a little bit of carryover, but we're not really able to work with them on that. It just kind of comes up organically, but it's important to know what they've been working on. And the most powerful tool as a coach is, what is the player committed to? Hold them accountable to it, to know I'm trying to keep my eyes here. I'm trying to keep my base in this direction when I release the ball, different things like that.
Your first game you called as a coordinator. What was that like doing the play calling, and what did you share with Brad to help you through whatever you did?
I was so nervous. Well, beyond the preseason, but it was regular season 1 at Minnesota when I was coaching for the Bucs, and I had my game plan. I knew what my calls were. Felt like I was ready to go, and I think Todd could sense that I was pretty nervous, and he came over and he just said, "Let it rip," and gave me the confidence to just trust what I studied, trust what I saw, and just call the game. He's like, "I didn't come here to run any type of offense. Came here for you to make yards and score points. Let's find a way to do that." And that was so relieving to me in that.
When you hadn't yet done that, calling plays on what prepared you most for that, and what, when you're interviewed for that, who to somebody?
Really, it's just the work that goes into it, the grind, and trusting the serenity of your office with a cup of coffee, and knowing that those decisions will be the best for you, especially when the moments get intense. Trust that information. That's what's on your call sheet versus trying to find some special play. It's not about being a guru or anything. It's about being a coordinator and making sure that you coordinate this whole thing so you can execute. And that's always connected to what the players can execute.
When new coaches arrive after that offense for a young quarterback, new scheme, How much does the decision making of your support? How do you measure this?
I think it's a philosophical belief. It all starts with what you believe in, how you're going to score points, how you're going to be an explosive offense, and how you're going to set that up. And then from there, it goes to the players. What's best for our players? We have a giant playbook. We probably use somewhere between 30 and 40% of what we can actually do, but it's because our players showed us what we can do and showed us what we need to improve upon and see if there's something we can dust off to add value to add a wrinkle to. But it all starts with the players, especially with Bryce. And what is Bryce confident in? What can he do well? What does he see? And you can see it by his demeanor, by his back foot, and how quickly that ball comes out. He's like, this is where the decisions are coming from. I would say definitely teaching the scheme. And the decision making and all that part of it comes with time and gets where once you're starting to groove those different concepts and you have full understanding, that's when the mastery piece comes into play. And that's what we're after in everything we're doing. It's been those conversations since we've been working together, and we were together for a long time in Seattle for a couple of years, and we have a lot of history back there. But once we got to Tampa, he was the person I leaned on because we were installing our offense. And while I had a vision for what we were doing, it was Brad right next to me. He said, okay, how are we going to implement these things? Brad helped me with my interview processes. It was, at first it was interviewing it for Vanderbilt, way back a couple years ago, and then it was interviewing for the Ravens, and it was interviewing for the Bucks, and he was always a sounding board for me. So he's been through this process with me this whole time, and as we've built offenses and learned our players, we start to fine-tune what we really want to do, and he's been a part of that every step of the way.
Back in December, you basically said you couldn't do this without him on a personal level to give him this opportunity.
Yeah. Really just means the world. It allows me to be the head coach. And that's what when I was a coordinator, he allowed me to be a coordinator by making sure that his position was right. And then also by really actively being my pass game coordinator when we were in Tampa. And so those types of things, the trust factor that I have for him, beyond all those things, just his work ethic. He's the hardest working person in our building. And he's there early and he's there late trying to make things happen. It matters to him. And that's the part that I trust about Brad. We're looking at things. We're looking at all the things that Daryl brought from Miami and just putting it all on the table. Part of our all of us being here at the Combine together, just meeting during the day, is to see, we know we have our core that will stay the same, but what are some of the things operationally? What are some of the wrinkles from a schematic standpoint that we might be able to add to bring value to what we're doing? And certainly looking at an offense that I've really respected over the years, and a coaching family with Mike McDaniels, Kyle Shanahan, and the like, that I really respect, and to see how do they get to such good football, explosive plays, all those things. Wanted to make sure that we're continuing to bring things for our offense. Really just watching him own concepts, the feedback is really where it's starting to become powerful. Having conversations with him, we go through our game plan days, our checkpoints, he and I talking on the phone, making sure we have the things that get him excited and that he feels confident in executing, and really starting to, the more vocal he gets with what he likes, what he doesn't like, the closer and closer we get to a real identity of what we're doing. And while those things kind of change with the personnel, with the players that we have, that's the mastery that we're after. And the more he involves himself in what we're doing there, the more powerful it gets for us. Oh, just continue to grow, be consistent, show up and be a guy that the guys can count on. And I say this all the time about Xavier, but his work ethic, when I see guys working hard, that usually works. And watching him grind, watching him attack it with everything he has is why I have confidence that Xavier will take another step this year. You feel like you don't have time to do everything, it will all get done. Personal experience.
A couple more.
I really quickly just wanted to talk about Coach Capers. So Coach Dom's going to be going to Cleveland, to the Browns. Someone who's had a tremendous influence on me, a guy who started the Panthers and who has the ability to walk around the parking lot and say, I remember when we planted these trees, and they tower over us now and cover us, which is really symbolic for how he's covered us as a staff, the development of our defensive staff. Coach Dom leaving us creates a lot of opportunity for coaches to step up into new roles. I don't want to get into the specifics of what those roles will be, but these are guys that learned from Coach Dom, especially with Ejiro, starting with him, the influence he's had on him and the rest of the coaching staff to be able to build our defense up. And these are guys that I really trust, and I'm excited about where we're going.
You also promoted Mike Berkovich.
Yes.
Kind of an up-and-coming coach. We talked about him before. Why was that important to you this offseason so early?
Just watching the care that he has for what we're doing and understanding that giving him the pass game coordinator title comes with responsibility and expanding his horizons. He took over third down last year and was also involved in some of our play pass things. And the general trajectory is just to continue to get eyes on the whole pass game to make sure he's got a unique connection with Bryce too. He was here before we got here, and they have a really unique relationship. And I believe he understands what Bryce likes, the different things that he might want to see, questions he might have, and it really kind of streamlines the information. So that's a really critical position for us and a critical role for Mike, and I was excited to give him that promotion.